To ensure maximum efficiency, the use of the interchange include 1. Construction of the 64.4 kilometer Ashiaman roundabout to Akosombo Junction Road at a cost of 256 million euros from the KfW IPEX Bank of Germany. The project will see the current single carriageway of the Akosombo Road expanded into a multi-lane dual carriageway, services roads, construction of interchanges at the Ashiaman roundabout and the Esutuare junction. 2. Dualization of the 17-kilometer Tema to Aflao Road. The project is expected to cost 105 million United States dollars and will tie into the Trans-African Highway project from Lagos to Abidjan. The current 2-lane dual carriageway will be expanded into 3-lane carriageway per each direction. And 3, expansion of the Accra-Tema motorway into a 3-lane dual carriageway with service roads under a public-private partnership arrangement. Evaluation has been completed and we're awaiting approval from the Public-Private Partnership Approval Committee of the Ministry of Finance to engage the contractor. Ladies and gentlemen, the economic benefits of these and many other trunk roads being undertaken by the Ghana Highways Authority, the Department of Urban Roads and the Department of Feeder Roads will be immense. Government is committed to the successful completion of all the projects, and I urge the Ministry of Roads and Highways to see to their expeditious completion. Indeed, with this year being the year of roads, I'm happy to state that there has been an appreciable improvement in the trunk road network in the country, as more sections of roads are being upgraded from gravel surface to bitumen surface or asphalt concrete surfacing roads. As we talk about the upgraded conditions of our highways, we as Ghanaians need to be mindful of our responsibilities in the use of our roads. Although the necessary safeguards have been put in place, the severity and frequency of accidents on our highways due to overspeeding and indiscipline are a great reproach to all of us. Motorists must be extra careful and disciplined on the highways and resist the temptation of overspeeding. Better roads should be a catalyst for national development and not instruments of death and pain. It is time we brought road accidents in our country under control. The agencies and departments of the Ministry of Roads and Highways, especially the Ghana Highway Authority, in collaboration with the National Road Safety Authority and the Patrol Unit of the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Police Service, MTTD, need to intensify their educational and sensitization activities on speed control, axle load control, and road preservation. I appeal to MMDAs to ensure that we do not have a proliferation of billboards, posters, and other marketing ads in and around the vicinity of this project. Let us use this superior road network responsibly and productively. Accordingly, ladies and gentlemen, I have the great pleasure to declare the project for the improvement of Ghana's international corridors, the grade separation of Tema intersection in Tema, duly commissioned. only sad note of today's happy occasion is that my good friend, the late Tema Manche, Ni Ajay Kraku II, did not live to see this day. May his soul rest in perfect peace. In conclusion, let me end by thanking the contractor and all the workers on this project very much for their diligence and competence and for respecting the schedule of delivery. May God bless us all in our homeland Ghana and make us great and strong. I thank you for your attention.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, shall we put our hands together? His Excellency.
And we just came back from the commissioning of the Tema Motorway Interchange. This is Joy News Today. My name is Daniel Daze. In our headlines this afternoon, confusion breaks out in Parliament over the terms of reference for probe ordered by the Speaker into allegations of embezzlement of about $159 million meant for the Saglemi housing project. We are live in Parliament. Also, President Akufo-Addo commissions the new motorway interchange, as you just saw him finish there. We bring you more from the ceremony which just ended. Also, a COVID-19 patient safely delivers baby via cesarean section at the Elwak Isolation and Treatment Center.
Basically, nothing different from the regular cesarean section, except we know that because of the patient's unfortunate infection with COVID-19, we need to take precautions for mother and for baby, and for the team members who will be involved in the procedure. But we don't expect anything untoward or anything different from what a normal cesarean section would be.
And the fear of the unknown. We tell you how people are developing mental-related illnesses in parts of the Ashanti region as a result of anxiety for contracting COVID-19. In business, contractor workers on the Eastern Railway line to provide new completion date following reported cases of COVID-19. All this and more in this bulletin. Stay with us.
News Today is brought to you by
Number 10 liver salt from Ernest Chemists, because everyone needs a chemist.
Great to have you with us. Now, first story. A COVID-19 patient has delivered her baby via cesarean section at the Elwak Isolation and Treatment Center. Joy News' Beryl Ernestina Richter had an exclusive access to the Elwak Level 2 COVID-19 Isolation and Treatment Center and engaged the medical team who conducted the C-section surgery. Here's a wrap of what took place.
It is day 2 of our tour of the Elwak Level 2 COVID-19 Isolation and Treatment Center. We are here at the theater where a cesarean section would be performed shortly for a pregnant woman who has contracted COVID. I'm sure there are questions on the minds of many, and for this particular one, it is very, very important because this pregnant woman has COVID. So I have with me here one of the key members of the medical team here. Join me, let's find answers. We are joined by Lieutenant Colonel Asari. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us what procedure this pregnant woman would be taken through. I'm asking this because we know it's in the minds of many that if a pregnant woman has COVID, would she go through the same processes a lady with no COVID would go through?
Basically, we would first of all counsel her. Of course, she must be aware as to what she will be going through. This is a cesarean section. And then we will get an informed consent from her. And then once we get that informed consent from her, we will now get into the theater where you can see my team members are preparing. What does it all entail? As you can see, we are all in our PPEs as well, knowing quite well that we are going to deal with a condition that is highly infectious as well. So the patient will come in here, And then we will clean the back. After cleaning the back, one of my team members here will now give what we call a spinal anesthesia. And in this case, we are just going to instill some few mils of a local anesthetic agent into the back. And that will numb her from the nipple downwards. That will also facilitate us finishing with the surgery. After the surgery is done, she will then go to the ward, and then we will still continue from there. But then we have also prepared that should in case the spinal fails and we have to get into a general anesthesia, we have our anesthetic machine here. We are not only thinking about the mother, the baby is equally important. So we are equally ready as well. Once the baby is delivered and the baby will need any form of resuscitation, we would carry that out effectively.
Okay.
We are still in the theater. We are waiting for the patient to be brought. I have with me here one of the key team members. He is Lieutenant Colonel Ejarijan. He's the obstetrician gynecologist. He will tell us what to expect in this first C-section that would happen shortly.
Basically, nothing different from the regular cesarean section, except we know that because of the patient's unfortunate infection with COVID-19, we need to take precautions for mother and for baby, and for the team members who will be involved in the procedure. But we don't expect anything untoward or anything different from what a normal cesarean section would be.
Apologies for the loss of sound there. Let's move elsewhere. And there's confusion over the terms of reference for the probe ordered by the Speaker of Parliament yesterday into allegations of embezzlement of about $159 million meant for the Saglemi housing project. Works and Housing Minister Samuel Atachia made the allegation yesterday when he responded to questions on the floor and served notice former NDC government officials will be prosecuted soon. A report on yesterday's proceedings spelled out 3 terms of reference for the committee. But the Speaker told today's sitting those terms are inaccurate. Joseph Opoku Gakpo joins us. Joe, what does the report say are the terms of reference, and what is the Speaker's reaction?
So according to the vote and proceedings document, the first term of reference is for the committee to establish whether 80 million or 40 million US dollars, representing 40% and 20% respectively of the contract sum, was paid to the company, the Constructora OAS Ghana Limited, as part of mobilization. And the second point is whether there was a corresponding importation of materials of the said amount for the project after the transfer of the monies outside the country by the contractor. And then the third point is whether the necessary procedures were followed before the transfer of the said amount. That's actually what the document here in Parliament actually says are the terms of reference as were agreed. But some minority MPs, including Mr. Kujetua Blakwa, noted that as far as they are concerned on the floor, the terms of reference were not agreed on, and the Speaker actually agreed with them that his directive was for a general probe into the said circumstances having to do with the Saglima project, and that he's unaware of any such specific terms of reference. And to quote him, he said that the table office, which compiles the reports, did put words in his mouth as far as what the terms of reference were. So his directive now is that they should go ahead and probe the general issues having to do with the said contract and how come there were issues about non-parliamentary approval for a reversal or a revision of the contract and all. So a general look into what happened and report back to the House within 2 weeks.
So, Joe, what difference will this new assignment by the Speaker make in how the committee will do its work?
And so now they are clearing their minds on what exactly they should look out for. The earlier indication was that they were going to zoom into a specific concern about how the project sum, about 40% of it was actually paid to the contractor for mobilization, which the Minister for Works and Housing, Samuel Atachia, is alleging that when they said money was paid, the contractor did not import any items and did not do the necessary mobilization, and that he ended up diverting the said amount. And so the indication is that the probe is not supposed to focus on that specifically, but on the general content about whether there were 5,000 housing units that were supposed to be built instead of 1,000, and report back to Parliament within 2 weeks.
Right. So, Joseph, tell us about the confusion that ensued in Parliament. Was there any fracas on the floor, for instance?
No. So there were only concerns about whether the terms of reference as were laid out were actually the specific terms of reference, with the Speaker, Professor Michael Quickler.
Now, Parliament, we understand, Joseph, is expected to debate the report of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee requesting that the House approves a constitutional instrument that will allow for the compilation of a new voters register by the Electoral Commission. Joseph, has that debate started?
No, it hasn't. We are still waiting for the chairman of that committee, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, to move the motion later in the day in order to allow for MPs to debate that particular report. What has been happening is that the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Shelia Yokoboche, has been responding to questions here in Parliament on what is being done to actually evacuate Ghanaians who have been stranded in different parts of the world as a result of COVID-19 restrictions, and also the closure of the border as has been announced by President Akufo-Addo. And she says that the said evacuation has actually started. She gave some figures and indicated that just yesterday, about 7 Ghanaians arrived from the Nigerian town of Lagos into the country. Apart from that, a number of others are expected in the coming days. There are about 435 people who are expected from London on the 17th of June, that's later this month. They are expecting another number of 299 people from New York on the 25th of June, and they are as well expecting about 300 people from Washington, D.C. on the 28th of June. There will also be the evacuation of about 675 Ghanaians from China. The conversations on a specific date with regards to that is ongoing, and the minister again told Parliament that from Abu Dhabi and the UAE, about 500 Ghanaians are expected. And so following the directive that various embassies put together figures on stranded Ghanaians, those are the details that they are getting,
right,
and the processes have begun to evacuate Ghanaians from this.
Right. Joseph, thank you very much for those updates from the House. Let's take you live once more to the commissioning of the Motorway new interchange project, where the President, Nana Akufo-Addo, is commissioning the facility. Well, he just finished that. Now, Maxwell Agbagba is there for us and joins us live. Maxwell, how has the President been reacting to the demands by the NDC to credit former President Mahama for initiating the construction of the interchange?
Well, Daniel, let me say that coming to this event, many people were expecting that the President would directly speak to those concerns raised by the minority in Parliament and the National Democratic Congress. That did not happen, but what we saw, which was a bit closer to the expectation, was President Akufo-Addo saying that former President John Mahama's claim of putting up unprecedented infrastructure when it comes to roads is only a fantasy that exists in the Green Book. That is the closest that we've seen as a form of response to the minority claim. I'll be telling you more about what the President has been saying here. We have with us the Chairman of the Government Assurances Committee, Collins Amankwa. He's here with us. Sir, you're welcome to join us.
It's my pleasure.
So, the Tema interchange completed. We can see the easy flow of traffic now. As the Chairman of the Government Assurances Committee, what do you make of this?
Well, I think, first of all, let me put it on record that a promise fulfilled once again by His Excellency the President of the Republic. This is a strategic road project that, as you rightly put it, is going to ease flow of movement, and also in terms of vehicular movement is going to ease. So I think it's something that is commendable, and we should say that the government has done really, really well.
You are a majority member of Parliament. Your colleagues in the minority have been raising concerns about who should be credited for this interchange. What do you make of their concerns?
Well, I think I'm not in position to say who should be credited, but the fact of the matter is that it's the people who matter most. that at the end of the day, this very project is going to serve good people of this country. And it's the first of its kind. If you look at this 3-tier, intersection road project, it's very beautiful. And I don't want it to be seen as who should be credited. But the fact of the matter is that now it is done. And that is the ultimate thing. It is done. Yes, we cannot see it's been completed. And that should be dear to all of us than to say this regime should be credited.
But the minority is saying that this has happened, many times. They mentioned Terminal 3, for instance. They're saying they didn't get the credits for what they did, MPS and all of that.
Well, I don't know why the minority and also the opposition party is crying for some level of credit as far as certain projects, especially road infrastructure, is concerned. To the best of my knowledge, the current administration has done more in terms of road infrastructure to the people of this country than the NDC. And it's true. If you go through the records, and based on performance-based records, from respective agencies, in terms of road distribution, in terms of road infrastructure, I am of a firm belief that indeed the current administration has delivered on its promises.
Now, a number of supporters of some disqualified aspiring MPP parliamentary candidates are hitting the streets to protest the party's decision against the choice. Let's first take you to Kumasi, where supporters of the disqualified aspiring candidates for Joabing are demonstrating to get the party to reverse its decision. My colleague Ohiming Teria joins us live with more. Ohiming, bring us up to speed on what's happening there. We'll get to Ohiming and get that story. Of course, we know that the New Patriotic Party has set June 20 as the date for the primaries for the parliamentary seats, where they'll be selecting persons who will be representing the party in the 2020 elections in the various constituencies. Now, we will bring you updates on that story, but in the meantime, some youth groups in Bekwai constituency of the Ashanti region have disputed claims the area has been neglected by the incumbent New Patriotic Party government. Some residents had earlier accused Member of Parliament Joseph Osei-Wusu, who is also the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, and President Akufo-Addo of neglect, with claims the constituency has received little or no developments from government. But in a news conference, the youth group made up of market women, taxi drivers associations, among others, say the claims do not reflect the reality on the ground and that the current MPP government has done better in the constituency than previous governments. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin has more.
Their concern stems from the fact that since His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo took over as the president of this republic, Bekwai has not received her fair share of the national cake, and that by every means, whether fair or foul, Right Honorable Joseph Osei-Wusu should be changed. We, the above listed groups, find this very unfortunate and outrageous, to say the least. We, the good people of Bekwai, especially the youth of the constituency, are more than satisfied with the monumental development going on across the constituency. Since the Fourth Republic, our constituency has not received such a massive development than we are seeing today under the able leadership of Honorable Joseph Osei-Wusu.
Spokesperson for the group, Eric Esubonting, cited construction of Kokobeng, Semfi, Dominancy, Ajamanso Trunk Road, Bekwai Town Roads, Asansu, Feyasi Roads, Kokofu Asamai Roads, among others, as evidence of infrastructure development in the area.
Under road infrastructure, ladies and gentlemen, let me state without any equivocation that since the Fourth Republic, this is the very first time in the history of Bekwai that we are seeing such unprecedented road infrastructure. Kokobeng, Semfi, Dominancy, Ajamanso Trunk Road, 9.5 kilometers. Asansu Feyasi, 9.6 kilometers. Kokofu Asamai, 3 kilometers. Kensre Pampaso, 13 kilometers. Intinanko Atuchesu, 13.3 kilometers. Bekwai Town Roads, 19.5 kilometers, and others. Under educational infrastructure, ladies and gentlemen, the achievements of Honorable Joseph Osei-Usu.
Now, we'll stay with the MPP primaries because supporters of the Doma candidate have been speaking. Now, Precious Semevo is our man on the ground there. He joins us live. Precious, what's the situation where you are? Right, Precious, if you can hear me, paint for us a picture of the situation at Doma. We will get you, Precious Semevo, to bring us that update. But now let's go back to the Ashanti region. Ohiming Teria is standing by with some details of what we just saw. Ohiming, take us away. Right, Ohiming, what's the situation there?
Thank you, Daniel. A while ago, NPP supporters, about 300 of them, massed up in Obuom in the Javin municipality of the Ashanti region in protest over attempts by constituency executives and national executives to disqualify one of the leading parliamentary aspirants for the Javin Municipal Assembly. And indeed, the people who came here are polling station executives, and they say the party's executives have been attempting, they are working assiduously to disqualify this mining consultant considered a front runner. So what they did today was to march to one of the streams in Obuom. And Obuom is just on the Kumasi-Accra road. They slaughtered a sheep here, cut some parts of the sheep, and also invoke a curses on anybody who will be involved in the attempt to deny their preferred candidate the opportunity to contest for the parliamentary, upcoming parliamentary primaries here in the Jabin constituency.
Ohiming, what's the name of this mining consultant, and who do these persons believe is behind this attempted disqualification? I'm talking about a candidate.
Yes, Daniel, they say Mr. Francis Owusu Echao, who is making this attempt for the third time, has been in touch with the constituency executives and the polling station executives. Is somebody who they know to be one of their own, and that they want to do anything possible to ensure he's elected to represent them at the constituency level. And Daniel, one key thing is the fact that
one key thing is the fact that invocation of curses is not allowed in the Ashanti region, especially within Asante Mine. And I have been speaking to the traditional authorities here. I have the Nobuamuhine Nana Chere III to find out from him what today's incident mean to him as a traditional ruler. So Nana, tell me what will happen to these people who have gone ahead to invoke curses in the community where it is not allowed to do so.
Thank you very much. You see, in Obom Township, what we have done is that we have banned the curses. So if they have gone contrary to what I have said, that no one is allowed or no one will be permitted to invoke such curses, and if they have done it, then they are going to face the consequences. So, but I have called them, I have invited them on Sunday. That Sunday they should come to my palace and give me the explanation why they do such a thing.
So you've ordered them to come, invited over to your palace. Let me find out from you, as a traditional leader, did they seek your permission before going to the stream, before doing what they did?
I even don't know anything about the stream unless I got the information or the report from one of my linguists that this is what they have done. That is why I'm saying that I will invite them on Sunday to know from them the reason why they did such a thing.
But the explanation, does the explanation matter, knowing very well that what they did is covered even on live camera, live television? Does this explanation matter once you know they have done it?
Oh yes, it matters a lot because they shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have, because in Ashanti region, Otunfo, coming down to Jabin, Manhene, Nanu Sribo, coming down to my village and every part of Ashanti region, we disallowed that cases. So once they have done this, that means they have gone contrary to the laws of the land. So any consequences, they have to face it.
All right, that is the Nobuamuhine Nana Kojo Echre the third. Nana Yachre the third, Daniel.
Thank you very much, Ohiming. Let's go elsewhere and speak to Precious Semevo now. Precious, paint for us a picture where you are.
Well, Daniel, the situation here in the Bono region, Doma Central, to be specific, is that yesterday in the afternoon, some supporters of the New Patriotic Party, believed to be sympathizers of Dr. Yao Yeboah, who is contesting to represent the New Patriotic Party in the upcoming general election in December. But they appear to have picked some information from the National Party office that their candidate, Dr. Yao Yeboah, has been disqualified. And as such, they took the law into their hands, went to the party office at Doma Central, where they are alleged to have set the place on fire, burning the office equipment used by...
Hello? Right, thank you very much, Precious. We'll get more details later. Now, we'll stay with this issue of party primaries and grievances because the New Patriotic Party's Conflict Resolution Committee is dealing with at least 78 petitions it has received from concerned and aggrieved members ahead of its primaries in 168 constituencies. The party's Director of Elections told Roland Walker on the AM show on Joy News, whilst these petitions are being dealt with, the leadership of the NPP is making sure primaries are organized with strict adherence to COVID-19 protocols to safeguard the health of delegates.
For us, all these issues, we are human, and so yes, disagreement will come when official reports are communicated through the General Secretary. Appropriate actions are
Have you had any official reports of grievances?
If we are asking in reference to
the primary,
this ongoing process to conduct our primaries, yes, some people submitted petitions to the General Secretary to be forwarded to the National Parliamentary Appeals Committee, which was chaired by Mr. Peter McMahon, our former chairman, 2016 campaign manager, and still 2020 campaign manager. It tells you. It was supported by Dr. Dokufo, S.K. Boafo, Mantilizi, Madam Cecilia Brandapa, other leading members of the party in that committee. So there were in-house discussion with all the aggrieved people, and it is expected, and they appreciated that the final decision will come from the National Executive Committee. And so by so doing, the General Secretary will issue the decisions from National Executive Committee, and it is expected that all aspirants will accept the final decision.
Okay. So there are petitions, but
petitions were received.
Okay.
Petitions were
How many petitions were received?
I think I can talk of 78. Some by people who were not recommended by the vetting committee, and some by others who feel that people who had been recommended by the vetting committee has some issues to discuss, and that has gone on, and we've gone past that phase. That allowed the national chairman to call for the National Executive Committee to consider both reports from vetting committee and National Executive and the Appeals Committee.
When are you going to conclude with that as a party, so that those who have raised those petitions, put in those petitions, they will have some finality before this is convened?
Once the National Executive Committee comes out, that's the final.
When is that?
We've done.
And be sure to stay with us here on Joy News. This is your election headquarters, keeping you updated till December 7, 2020 and beyond. We turn our attention elsewhere, and nearly 120 health workers in the central region have tested positive for COVID-19. 45 of them are on admission in the various health facilities across the region, while the rest are being taken care of in their homes. Deputy Regional Health Director in charge of Public Health, Dr. Godfred Sapon, is asking health professionals to, as a matter of necessity, observe the preventive protocols, even among themselves, to reduce a further spread of the virus. Richard Kojonyako has more.
The 111 health workers are among the region's caseload that is nearing 500. Cape Coast leads the pack of cases in the region, followed by the commander at Negua-Fabre municipality that has close to 100 cases. Deputy Regional Director of Health, Dr. Godfred Sapon, cites the non-adherence to the safety protocols, even among health workers, as a major factor accounting for the rising cases among health staff.
And that's where, because that's why we feel that a lot of our health workers are not, unfortunately, are not observing these protocols when they enter their communities and in their homes. And even within our health facilities, when they are interacting with themselves. And so you enter a typical facility where nurses have a changing room and they change into their scrubs. And you don't see some of our nurses, wearing the face mask when they're interacting with themselves. And that's quite worrying. And that could possibly be one of the reasons accounting for the spread among our health workers. Of course, they live in the communities. It's also possible they're picking it from the communities when they don't observe the preventive protocols.
So far, 7,963 people suspected to be having the virus in the region have had their samples taken, and out of the figure, 2,174 are awaiting their test results. Dr. Sapon listed the hotspots in the region as Cape Coast, KEA, Abuasebu Kwamankase, Ejumako, Infantiman, Ewutu Senya, Asan North and Asan Central. He indicated the health administration takes the situation where the health staff, the very workforce that is expected to take care of the sick, getting infected very serious.
And it's quite worrying for us because if health workers go down, and they are our frontline workers, then the fight against COVID will be compromised. And that's something we don't want to, those are territories we don't want to enter into. So we're taking this a lot more seriously, and we're giving it all the necessary attention that it needs and requires. And we continue to engage with facility managers and our district directors to do the needful and provide and make sure that our health workers are observing all the necessary protocols. Every single facility in Central Region, every single facility providing essential services in Central Region has been supplied with face masks, with hand sanitizers, and they have hand washing facilities within their facilities.
The Deputy Health Director indicated their preparedness to embark on a massive testing of the population in the region to halt community spread and to avoid any overstretch of the health facilities and the personnel in the region. Richard Kwejenyako, Joy News, Cape Coast.
That's live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Dazi. We'll take a few messages, but before we go for that, Josephine Nkrumah, who chairs the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, has a message for you as part of our hashtag Stop the Stigma campaign.
My name is Josephine Nkrumah, and I'm the chairman of the National Commission for Civic Education. In the wake of the global pandemic, the coronavirus disease, the emerging issue of stigmatization stemming from anxiety, fear, and ignorance threatens our collective efforts, fight, and sacrifice to win the war against the coronavirus. Let us remember that the coronavirus is no respect respecter of persons. Neither your social status, your religious or academic background, or your ethnicity protects you from the virus. Let us show compassion to persons recovered from the virus, their families, and especially to frontline workers. NCC urges all Ghanaians to stop the spread the love, and stop stigmatization now.
www.adumonline.com for local and international news, business, entertainment, politics, lifestyle, sports, and more. Watch the most intriguing YouTube videos on demand and live streaming of Adum TV, Ghana's #1 television station. Listen to live radio and podcast of all your favorite Adum FM programs, no matter your location and time. AdumOnline.com is an audio, photos, and video focused website. We break the news as and when it happens. AdumOnline.com is on web and app, making it easy to visit via phone, tablet, and desktop. AdumOnline.com, Ghana's most comprehensive news portal.
For news has never been greater. People are constantly tuning in to the broadcasts and scrolling for coronavirus updates.
My name is Dao Carl. Contractors working on the Eastern Railway line from Tema
But
to
news
Kakadana
outlets are grappling with a cash crunch,
completion of
and
work.
the
The
industry
line, which is
is
expected
adapting
to
quickly.
join
We've had to cut
Burkina
down
Faso,
the
is about
numbers.
60% complete.
Production.
The contractors,
The media,
Aqua Limited,
a virus,
reported some
and survival.
positive cases of COVID-19 at one of the project sites, a situation which has brought the entire work to a halt. According to the Minister for Railway Development, Joe Garte, government has requested
the harsh
new
impact of the
completion timelines for the
coronavirus.
A
project.
Joy News documentary by Araba
way they are
Kunsin
working,
examines how
we
the
believe
news
that they
industry
can
in
finish
Ghana
in August
is surviving
of
this
this year.
devastating pandemic. The media,
Now, at that time,
a virus,
they had done
and
about
survival
a little over
on the
50%
Joy
of the
News
work.
channel.
But they had also done quite a bit of the formation. The formation is what is done before the track is put on it. In January and February, what they did was that they spent a lot of time working on the badge and so on. And they in fact launched the badge, which will allow them to do the bridge over Volta. If you are going to the Volta region just around Joppo, you see that they worked on both sides of the road. But unfortunately, they were affected by this virus. What is happening is that this morning, the Ghana Railway Development Authority met with them. And we've asked them to give us their proposal for their new timelines. But like all the contractors that we work with have said to me that construction of that nature is not like a car that you can just switch it on and off. When you demobilize to remobilize, it takes time. And so we've lost significant time. And for those who say that it will be completed in August, please, that is not the situation. In December, they said it will be completed in August. Even what you are wearing, your nose mask you are wearing, must show you that the world has changed. We have all experienced this unfortunate incident that has changed our world completely. And also, they also had people who had the virus, so they had to stop working. And so Ghana Railway will sit down with them, and when the new figure comes out, when the new date comes out, we'll make it known to the people of Ghana.
Now, General Secretary of the Agric Workers Union, Edward Carraway, is urging that the lapses with the food production value chain are fixed in order to control the hikes in food prices. Now, prices of food commodities have increased over the past few months, although there is sustained supply. Much of that has been blamed on the recent lockdown, but analysts are also pointing to other contributory factors.
There must be a free flow of what is produced to the consumer. And we have, over the years as a country, failed to address these structural challenges. So that is why you continue to find out that if you talk about the northern region, there is so much maize in the northern region, Yet poultry farmers down within the Accra cannot even get that particular maize. You talk about watermelon in the Volta region, yet the price in Accra is prohibitive. It's because there's supposed to be a smooth connection between the production to the consumer. Now, how do we bring watermelon from Volta region to Accra? By what mode of transport? There is a disorganization of these different parts of agricultural production. You know, production is incomplete until it reaches the final consumer.
Right.
And we are not paying particular attention to that simple theory, which we now need to practicalize to make sure that whatever is produced, we quickly move it to where it is most needed.
Right.
We don't have those structures in place, or even where they are disorganized. That does not necessarily mean that transport prices will go down. That does not mean that if you are a transporter and you are hiring a vehicle either from Accra or from Volta region, for instance, to convey the watermelon to Accra, it is going to be cheaper. Right. It will not necessarily be just because fuel prices have come down. It will not necessarily be. You need to make conscious efforts and make those structural challenges addressed.
And that's all in business for now. Much more coming up at the top of the hour on the marketplace. Sports is up next.
Via Zoom is epidemiologists and cases.
The need for news has never been greater. People are constantly tuning in to the broadcasts and scrolling for coronavirus updates.
Ghana records 5,408 COVID-19 cases.
But news outlets are grappling with a cash crunch, and the industry is adapting quickly.
We've had to cut down on the numbers.
You need to cut down even on production.
The media, a virus, and survival.
About a third of the revenues are not coming in.
For 1 month, the paper was off the stands.
The media, a virus, and survival.
The harsh impact of the coronavirus.
A Joy News documentary by Araba Kumsin examines how the news industry in Ghana is surviving this devastating pandemic. The media, a virus, and survival on the Joy News channel.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the sports segment with me, Oreku Wampo, for some news which would leave Chelsea fans smiling, as Chelsea have reportedly moved a step closer. They put out a poll yesterday evening asking whether you think Timo Werner would be a big hit or miss at Chelsea, considering, you know, Chelsea and their problems that they've been having with strikers over the years. Now, most of you are saying that he will be a big hit, 78.4% out of the 1,121 votes so far. If you do disagree, you can head to our Twitter at Joy Sports GH to cast in your vote. We have just about 7 hours remaining. That wraps it up for the sports segment. We do have some more sports stories for you, and Sports Today comes your way at 2 p.m. live on the Joy News channel. My name is Oreku Ampofo, and do remember to stay safe.
Celebrating 25 years
of joy.
To our audience, the chiefs and people of Ghana, we say Baraka.
Now in world news, the junior minister in South Sudan has resigned and accused President Salva Kiir of having little interest in implementing the 2018 peace agreements designed to bring an end to 6 years of civil war. Deputy Interior Minister Mabio Garang de Mabio said the security situation in the country was worsening despite rivals Salva Kiir and former rebel leader Riek Machar forming a transitional government in February. Mr. Mabio, who is the son of South Sudan's founding leader John Garang, was appointed as part of the power sharing deal. And that's it for world news. Up next is Showbiz with Becky.
Bang bang with the cash.
My name is Kweku Ejaya Mwabusompem, also known as DJ Fantastic. Multimedia Group is celebrating 25 years of media excellence, and I'm a beneficiary of the Multimedia Educare Fund. I want to thank the Multimedia Group for investing in my life. Grateful hearts, Asela.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News today. Now, he is 72 years old, but he appears not to be letting up anytime soon. Ghana's Jeduble Ambule, called Simgua Man, has been credited as one of the leading lights in high life, hip life and jazz music. The man from 2nd D in the Western region is thought to be the first musician from Ghana to formally incorporate rap forms into local high life rhythms. He is on Spotlight today.
You cannot love this man enough. Jeduble Ambule, man of many parts, a singer, songwriter, producer, interpreter, multi-instrumentalist, born in 1947 in 2nd D in the Western region. The versatile artist exploded onto the music scene more than 40 years ago with what has been described as the factual first rap song in the world called Simingwadu.
I started way back in 2nd D. That's where I was born, that's where I schooled, and that's where I entered into music. What I did from the beginning was there were other bands in 2nd D, like the Broadway band, the Skylarks band, the Weavers Dance band, but we were going to our elders to ask questions.
He has been widely labeled as the godfather of hip life, the fusion of the hip hop and high life idioms, something he's proud of.
You know, it's a gift. When you have that gift and you nurture the gift will always grow, irrespective of who you are.
The world over, Ambule is recognized also for his live performances with the band. Let me take you back with these Ambule classics. Now, for each of his songs, he has performed to live audiences in Ghana, Africa, and beyond. The Ghanaian music colossus has shared stages with some of the world's most prominent musicians. Maria Makeba of South Africa, the late Fela Kuti of Nigeria, the late George Howard, Angela Bofill, Norman Carnas, and the late Manu Dibango. His songs about life, the struggle of man, success, marriage, and everything in between makes him an all-round storyteller. And after all these years, Ambule still remembers his breakthrough song that showcased him to Ghanaians. With his wealth of experience in this business, he has this advice for young and up-and-coming artists.
It's a long time coming, and I'm glad that it has been a steady road. And that's what I'm going to advise the young ones, that they need to learn, because if you have the knowledge, it helps you to move forward.
What would be his greatest, or rather most cherished achievement in his career till date? Well, if you are wondering how his rather interesting rap style came about, listen to what he told Becky in this interview.
The rap, there was a madman in Takoradi, called Arakanya. And anytime you see him walking, he'll be murmuring like, and we'll be following him. Though we couldn't hear the words that he was singing, but it was good. So when I got involved into music, I said, yeah, why don't you bring it back? So I took it back and added words to it. You know, about the Tusa, about the bullfruit, hey, your ransom contact or horse, mamma to the whoa.
So now you know. Many things inspire many artists, and for Ambule, that was his own rap inspiration. The man who is always sporting a hat, well, at least since I have known him, has been recognized for his industry and pioneering drive in music. And on Spotlight today, we celebrate him, the Semingwadu man, Jeduble Ambule.
I love his dancing.
I know you're from.
I grew up in Takoradi. I lived in second year a bit.
Have you ever met that madman?
I don't think the madman is alive now. But do you know the Diawusu legend? There's a legend that he was sitting under a tree, and that's when he got the lyrics for Simigara.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Diawusu.
So you've been there before?
Oh,
you've seen that?
I've gone to sit under it before. It's in the part of secondary called Aseminsido.
Daniel the legend.
Yeah, G.
That'll be all for the news today.
For more news?
For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. We'll be back next week.
On Monday, with another Joy News today. Up next, of course, is the marketplace. But enjoy the weekend and have a lovely day.
News Today was brought to you by
Number 10 liver salt from Ernest Chemists, because everyone needs a chemist.
In the world, the media is getting saturated with lots of hoax news stories, false claims, exaggerated headlines. Simply, fake news is spreading fast.
In this pandemic, fake news is a new infodemic. But fearless journalists at Joy News are on the front line.
Dance Terror, your dance channel.
Today on Dance Terra, we bring you Dance Unlimited, featuring some of the best acts you can find in this country and beyond.